Ghostface is calling. Strive gets a new patch with some new ranks, and fighting games need a standard? Question mark. Welcome to Double Tap. This is Mash Those Buttons podcast dedicated to everything and anything in the fighting game community. I'm your returning host, Crash, and with me, I've got StaticGorilla in the building.
Yes, I am StaticGorilla, Mr. Robotic Voice of last week.
Yeah, he held it down. Static, he took the reins of the show. I was not here last week, but I'm back now. If you guys haven't checked out that episode, go check out last week's episode. Yeah, man, we've got a week of some news that went down. Some things that we're definitely gonna get into. Some things I didn't say in the beginning, but there's plenty to talk about. I've been playing some games too that I want to kind of give some feedback on. But
you have time?
Yeah, I got time. It's crazy. I know it's crazy. But hey, like I said, this is Double Tap, is a podcast dedicated to everything and anything fighting game community. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Double Tap FGC, as well as check out our YouTube, where you can get a video version of this podcast, as well as some clips, some highlights, some shorts about it, and get involved on things like our community question and our polls, which we'll talk about this week. But let's get into it right off the rip. MK1. Oof. Ghostface. Ooh, Ghostface. This hits home for me, man, because I remember the first Scream movie. Like I believe I was in middle school when that one came out, and that was a big wave when that mask came out and the first movie came out. So to see him in a game some 20 something odd years later is kind of wild. Outside of like Terradome, for those that know what Terradome is, you know, if you know, you know. But in Mortal Kombat of all games.
Yeah, it's very, I don't know. I'm not going to say full circle, but it did make a lot of spin-offs that year that it came out. You know, I Know What You Did Last Summer. And not spin-offs, but sort of like
a resurgence in some new age horror. New age horror villains started showing up.
I just remember being a kid and I'm like, are they all the same? Like, what's happening? Mind you, I've never sat and watched any of them. I've seen clips, of course, the one girl getting stabbed in the ear, whichever one that was. Oh yeah, classic. But I think the only one I've actually sat down and watched was when I took my niece over to the theaters to watch Scream 6.
And that was the Jenna Ortega one. That was the last one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's the last joint. They for any, we're not gonna go too deep into Scream lore. I get the lore. But speaking of lore, they've made a really good way to actually add him in. Not the joke of like, he's just a guy with a knife. Like, how is he against gods and demons and all this? Well, guess what? They thought about that shit. So we had a combat cast go down last week. And they went over some really cool things, some extra features that'll be coming down the pipeline, but a breakdown of the gameplay. So off the rip, Ghostface is a very interesting character. He does run around like a dude with a knife, but he's got a pretty cool kit, I want to say. Pretty cool kit. They really leaned on the lore of it's spoilers for those that have not watched. It's 5 out of 6 times it's usually more than one killer. There is one movie where it's only one killer. But spoilers, I'm not going to say which. But in this one, we actually do have multiple Ghostfaces. This is supposed to be the original killer, which, technically it should be Billy, or it could actually be Shaggy, one or the other.
That's what I was about to say,
yeah. It's one of those two from the very original one.
No stranger from WB, excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. And then he has recruited 2 Black Dragon combatants into it, and that's why there's 3, which blew people's minds, including my own. Since then, if you don't want to hear who it is, though, if you want to hear who it is, spoilers right now. But
from the trailer, I watched it without sound, and I was like, I just watched the trailer. And I'm like, I'm not saying that it's Kano. I'm just saying, is that a Kano ball? But it was Shadow,
Black Dragon.
Black Dragon. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it was basically what we're talking about is in the Ghostface kit. Right, there is for one bar, you get to switch between killers. So there's like the standard one, right, with the standard knife that he has, right, pretty normal looking knife. But in certain instances in their kit where they knock you down, they can do a command grab. There's different things they can do that brings out another one, and you can choose to actually burn meter, 1 bar of meter, and switch into that other character, that other Ghostface killer for 12 seconds. And they come with some unique strings. Each one has an additional string. And some special capabilities, some special abilities. One being the Enforcer and one being the Assassin. So that's what it's been deemed. Enforcer and Black Dragon Enforcer, Black Dragon Assassin. And it's been shown off. The Enforcer has like a shoulder tackle. He's got like a overhead kick. He's got also a spitting, flaming back kick as well. And the Assassin has throwable projectiles. Their string is pretty unique because they like kind of swing for the fences. And then you said the Kano Ball, right? And also like a poison kiss. And immediately, for those that were hardcore, they knew who it was. Once again, spoilers. Spoiler warning right here as to who it is. In 3, 2, 1, it's Cobra and Kira. Those that are newer to MK, like maybe joined in during 9 and all that, they're in another one. Those names aren't gonna sound familiar. Maybe they might. Like I think there's like a reference here and there. I think in MKX. But yeah, these are two characters from the 3D realm, the 3D era of MK, where your Deception era, your Deadly Alliance, Armageddon, that generation. I can't remember 100% if Cobra was where they came in, like Cobra and Kira, but they're both Black Dragons. They literally have these moves like you can easily see it's a 1-for-1. So we know it's them. We haven't seen their faces, but you can clearly tell it's them. Which is cool. It was such a great way to highlight how like Ghostface could work in this realm, in this world, because they're just recruiting people, which is like dope. But besides that fun little cameo kind of idea in there, this character is kind of wild. He is very resource intensive, it seems, because you need to have like bar for 12 seconds of swapping over for a different kit. But the cool thing is it's very unique because you're also paying it for like some weird like combo like breaking potential, because once they get hit, once like the fake one gets hit, or rather the one of the ones that swap in, the Enforcer or the Assassin gets hit, like they get knocked out and then the normal one comes back, the regular original Ghostface killer comes in. So they'll take damage, but there won't be no stagger effect. So there's like ways where you can use that as utility, almost like a single hit armor, because you could still combo and do like 30%, 40% to the enemy, but they hit you once and it's like, oh, that's all they can do. They literally can't combo. They can't do anything. So you almost get like a freebie, which is like really interesting because I haven't seen a character have like a kit like that. It's kind of cool, at least in MK anyway, where you're paying bar for what is essentially like a dummy character to kind of just like a complete character. It's not like they're limited in any way. They like I said, they have all the same buttons and all. It's just they have additional capabilities. But that was like the most unique part of it, is obviously the changing between the Ghostface killers. But past that, the character is lots of references. There's even a reference video that is out there that's showing like where all the moves, everything came from, whatever scenes.
I was just watching it and it made me realize how like almost nobody. Anyway, let me stop. I don't want to spoil part 6, but like, does nobody die?
No one fucking dies in 6. All right, man. Let's be real. If you watch 6, for like 6 or even some of 5, like the whole double getting like shanked up and all that, like that guy did not die. Like he does not die. He literally got stabbed like 15 times in vital areas. Did not die. Yeah, it was. Listen, we could go into it, and for those that are like Scream fans, like what it is. Hopefully 7's better. The way it's shaping out, it's not looking like it's never going to happen.
Even the sofa, like the fatality thing that's shown at the end of this. That girl isn't dead. I saw her in 6. Like,
no. She's the niece of that character, by the way. Of that character they were referencing. Yeah, you didn't know.
Okay, cool.
Gotcha. But it's cool, the references. But yeah, the character comes with, like I said, some really good moves. Some decent buttons, like with the knife, you get some extra range. But really, the kit changing between the different Ghostface killers is really where they're going to shine, and it's going to create some very unique gameplay interactions for sure. Past that, he's got everything else. He's got neutral. He's got a stance, by the way. He's got a stance. I'll put it out there. So that means he passes my bar to play, because apparently I just like to play stance characters, and MK really just wants to, or NRS really wants me to play it.
I feel as though this is going to be like a Asuka type, like how Asuka plays with different cards and different like levels.
Oh yeah, Asuka from Strive.
Yes. the different decks or the different sort of. I mean, granted, when you change to a character, it's just for a period of time, like we were saying. So, I mean, I don't know if that's a detriment. That's something to me that when it said, "Oh, it's time based," I was like, I'm not quite interested now.
That threw me through a loop a little bit because I was like, oh, now I'm spending resources to do this. Like, that's kind of rough. But that additional thing for me, like, one hit kind of combo breaker thing, I'm like, ooh, that might be enough utility that it could justify it.
It's a really big butt.
Yeah. Yeah. And it looked like what they were showing as well. Like, he didn't require a lot of resources past that because he's got launchers. He's got command grabs that can lead into launchers, like, without needing meter, mind you. So I'm like, okay, if his core kit doesn't require it as much and you're using your meter to do that, to do the swapping around mostly, then I could see there being the balance there. But man, that's a lot of tools. And if he gets a lot of damage for no investment, whew, he only has one armor move too. Like his wake up, he only has one armor move, and it's like if he wakes up to the jumping stab that he then just lays on the ground prone, like that's his only armor move. So nothing too crazy, but yeah, he's got some gimmicks. But we're gonna have to just see. I believe for Ghostface, it's gonna be coming out this week, right? For anyone that did get the
19th
season 1,
there's maintenance tonight.
Yeah, it's literally maintenance tonight. Okay, yeah, this is being recorded on the 18th of November for Static, 19th for me right now. So it's going to be early access on the 19th with a worldwide release on the 26th, so 1 week from now. So if you did get the combat pack, if you got it early, you're going to be able to play Ghostface early on. So that means we're going to be seeing some tech by next week. We'll see. You have a good idea as to how this character, how either gimmicky, broken, or bad this character is going to be.
And the patch is live too, right? I believe.
I don't know if the patch is live yet. I feel like the patch is going to come with whatever they're coming through for Ghostface. I believe they're going to do it that way. But yeah, actually, speaking of that, there is a patch that's coming with it. Bunch of new moves, bunch of new interactions with cameos, things like Frost being able to explode her wall and actually create a launch off of that. Ashura enhanced move stances can actually be like swapped. She can swap stances by actually using the stance switch button, which I don't recall like ever having a use case for that in the game. I mean, there was some super deep weird stuff where like facing towards the camera versus away actually changed frame data a little bit from some earlier games. I think like MK9 was prone to that. It was like kind of like the player one advantage sometimes. It was very, very strange. But to actually have a utility like that, to actually for stance characters moves. To change stance with a button is kind of cool.
Yeah, during moves. I mean, Shang can do it. Why can't she, right?
Yeah, so that's pretty dope.
So the other thing I wanted to touch up on was Sub-Zero got a super change that I like, which is the slide into the like if you do the three clones, they don't just fall into the clones. Each clone is a freeze, and you can extend that combo, making 2 bars of it actually feel worth it. Because it was 2 bars.
Did anyone else? I'm just gonna put it out there. Did anyone else like remember like the Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat like flash like videos like back in the day, like the Scorpion versus Akuma one, or the Chameleon versus Akuma one? There's a scene where he does like a bunch of those, and it's like back and forth, and that's all I fucking see. When I saw that, I was like, yo, hold up. Is this a callback? Is this fucking for real right now? Yeah. But yeah, that looked dope. That looked dope. That's gonna be some swaggy ass combos for sure.
Finally.
Yeah. It's gonna be worth. But yeah, so MK1's right in the cusp of a patch. It's gonna revitalize some things. Homeland is getting touched. Everybody seems to be getting touched, so it's gonna be an interesting time. And of course, one of the big things. Give Sindel another move.
Yes.
Give her a halls. She needs it. One other big thing that they've also included that they're adding in this patch is the replay feature. Yes. The training mode replay feature.
But it's replay. I forget what it's called. Oh my god!
It's like match replay or something.
I'm terrible. But no, replay takeover. Sorry.
Replay takeover. Thank you. Sorry. Replay takeover. Yes. But yeah, so essentially, say we go online, me and Static play. Static does a crazy setup on me, and I go, "Oh, Super should beat this." I lose. Maybe okay. I want to lab it. One of the problems, right, with training mode is like you know, whenever you want to set up certain situations, like you have to know how to set that up, right, to that degree. And sometimes it's difficult, especially when it's a character you don't play, right? Like, do you really want to learn this character or have to put in the time to learn this character to this one setup? And it's not even guaranteed 100% if you're doing it correctly. Like you really have to like dig in. So instead of all of that, you could just boop, hit match replay, put yourself, you can set to what it seems like a certain amount of time set in the replay itself, and actually capture the match, and it'll replay. And you can control either character. Actually, you can control either character in that situation, and then you can try different setups, or you can try different ways to get out of a setup, for instance, right? And see what works. So that way, next time, maybe you play the same character, same person, maybe both. Could be grand finals at your local tournament. You can lab up, and now the kind of like the bar to kind of learn, it gets even easier for you. I think it's an amazing feature. It's not the first time we've seen it. Shout outs to French Red for the guys that did it for Plus R, like a while ago. Like I don't remember in like the COVID days, is when we actually heard about this. It was the Eddie. What is it? I think it's the Eddie replay or something like that is what it was called. But they basically they added it to Plus R for Guilty Gear Plus R. This was before Strive. And I thought it was an amazing feature.
So much so that it's made it into most games nowadays.
Not all, unfortunately.
I didn't say all.
Not all, yeah. But we're going to talk about that topic and some of the features for fighting games later in this episode. But yeah, so Mortal Kombat's going to be coming out swinging with a new patch, new characters, new moves, and new data to get into. So hopefully you guys are getting excited for that. In the meantime, we're going to be taking a quick break. We'll be right back after this, guys. We're going to be checking out a little bit of a Capcom Cup update going on here, as well as some Guilty Gear patches as well. So you want to stay tuned for that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alrighty, so yes, Ghostface, we do indeed like scary movies. I do have a favorite scary movie. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about some Capcom Cup, or rather really like a small update, because we're still in the midst of the Capcom Cup season or series at the moment. There's just ongoing online events going on, right? The World Warriors, and some finals have happened. We've got some more qualifying players already, including one, IDOM, making it and getting a qualifying spot with Manon, like not dropping her, not really an easy character in this state of the game right now in this meta. There's quite a lot to do to make her work, and IDOM has not given up on her, and looks like he's getting rewarded for that now. So he's made it now to the list of players that have gone ahead and qualified for Capcom Cup 11.
He won the US Canada one?
It's US Canada East, because there's US Canada Midwest and US Canada West.
East Americas. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, he ended up winning it. He took it 3-1 over Kami. And it was a tight one between him and Boos, actually, before that in winners finals. And Boos, we've seen him like show out at EZT, right? Like crazy Ken player. Yeah, insane.
And Jamie.
Has he also played Jamie?
He picked Jamie against Itabashi.
Oh yes, he did. He did. You are correct, sir. You are correct. But yeah, so we've got a couple of other players that are also qualified. Like Oil King has qualified. I believe I also Big Bird. Is it Big Bird? I always mix up the birds, bro. Yeah, Big Bird is the
second
Rashid, right?
Though. Yeah, Rashid.
Yes. Okay. Was Angry as the Ken. Should be angry. Ken lost everything. Yeah. So Big Bird also is qualified. He's won every single Middle East World Warrior. There's only 5 of them. He's won all 4. In first place, he's got 200 points as it is. 250 is literally the max. And for those that aren't aware, at this point, like no one's catching him in first place. And because he's in a super region, right? One of the rules for the regions for online are if you're in a super region, basically whoever gets first place in most points by the time finals comes around, you are already guaranteed a spot. These are just in super region areas though, so that doesn't apply everywhere. Super regions currently are Europe Northeast, Europe West, France, Monaco, UK, Ireland, Middle East, China, Asia East, and Asia Southeast. You might be like, yo, US, what the hell? We're pretty strong. It's like, well, we have like 3 different qualifiers in 3 different areas because we have a West, East, and a Midwest. But yeah, in those super regions, once again, if you make it to if you're in first place in it, you get an extra like 2K in your pocket, which is like nice money right there to enjoy that trip to Japan. But you also, like I said, get pulled, and that means whoever got 2nd to 9th, you guys are the ones that get put into an 8-man bracket for the actual finals. So the top 4, so 2nd through 5th, they actually get put on the winner side bracket, and then the bottom 4, they get put on the loser side. So you don't have to worry about making top 8. You just had to make top 9, really, if you were in the super region. But yeah, so we got to see that. We got some other people. I believe Fudo had just won. Yeah, Fudo had just won Japan, number 4 at this point. Just trying to see an overview as to right now. That puts him in 4th place at the moment, with Higuchi actually at number 1, tied actually with Kakeru for that region at this moment. And that was only number 4. Once again, there is going to be a 5th one before we even get a regional final. So somebody within that range, because there it's like from 1st to 5th, like 1st place with that tie between Higuchi and Kakeru, that's only 90 points. Momochi's right behind him at 75. Fudo and Orarin are tied at 70, and Hikaru is like right there is the one in between that won't make it. I believe, let me see, and I think, yeah, everyone else underneath that, yeah, it's close, but that last one's going to be very, very important for anyone there in the top 3, top 4 range, that if they get 1st place, and depending if, those upper echelons, Higuchi or Kakeru, end up getting 2nd, they might be able to secure 1st place and not have to worry about an actual final afterwards. Because that's one less tournament, man. There's one less tournament to go to. Because it's been pretty, we've heard the voices throughout the season about how some players are just like grinding out and might not feel like they might not be getting enough points, or maybe there's not events for these points. I think one of the players we were talking about earlier, was Dual Kevin, right? Was pretty vocal about it. Someone who's doing very well. Don't get me wrong. 2nd, 3rd, instant top 8s, won several of the 1st place, won several of the World Warriors. Because I believe he is Midwest.
Yes,
he's Midwest, right? Yeah, yes. Which is also I believe that's gonna be is that a super region? No, I think that one he has to actually fight his butt for. Actually, no, excuse me. Yeah, that one is gonna be leaderboard 1st place. We'll get. Yeah, that is a super region. Excuse me. So yeah, that one, he wants that. You're gonna want to get your 1st place on that, right? But it's really close on that one too. With Just a Kid right behind him at 130, while he has 140. But yeah, you say he's kind of been voicing his frustrations, man. It's tough. The grind is tough. Being an actual true world warrior is not easy.
Right. And that's something that I wanted to sort of bring up. Adding on to our conversation from last week is that we've got players that will travel to all these different places to enter these tournaments that are at different regions, not their own region. I think a fair change might be regional, like we're seeing here. They have regional leaderboards for points, but they're not points for where the person is actually from. I think a better way to get like a world warrior level style of tournament from people that represent each area wouldn't just be people that would go out, like let's say Japan came out to ECT and won Itabashi Zangief, right? What if when you would win any of the tournaments, you'd get points for your region, therefore sticking to just the best of the region? This player traveled all this way to get the 200,000 points. I just exaggerated that, but to get to 200 points that, or he played here, wins, and qualifies. The rest, they get to qualify for points of their region. That'll guarantee that the winner of the tournament can go, and that the second best or the best of that region can actually enter. Now, granted, what if, let's say, somebody comes to a Big E tournament and all of top 8 is New York? Then that is for up to all the New York players to decide. Not even decide. Between all the New York players, the 1st place got this 300 points, right? And the rest of them, let's say, dwindles down as the pot does. I think that'll be like a good indication of who might be best in the region. Just so that he's worked his points for that region. Because at this point you're calling it World Warrior, you're calling it this, you're calling it that, and it's like, are you truly finding the best, or are the best finding you? I think Guilty Gear was good because we didn't even hear about the Nago player prior to, and now he's already qualified again in this is Guilty Gear, by the way. He's now qualified at the France tournament, I believe. He beat Leffen. and look, I already forgot his name, but I just remember his Nago play and his Slayer play this year. So like, I think it's a better opportunity for those players that have traveled to represent their place and with their own crew. If you know, Angry Bird and the other bird.
Yeah, like the birds. Yeah, let the birds leave the nest. Well, I think I don't know. I think the opposite actually. I think it's good that. Like, I mean, I like the idea because I get it. You're like, oh, you're trying to represent for that region. So when Capcom Cup happens, you have like representation from all over the place, right? But, you know, it's kind of in the name, though, at the same time. World Warrior, like the idea of the people that are actually traveling and going around and going to regions, going to enemy territory and sizing them up or doing well or winning or not.
But that won't take it away from people that travel to go to them. You see what I mean? I don't know.
I can see that. I mean, if you're gonna ask me if it's whether or not it's worth it, I'll tell you right now. Like, you know, Itabashi got saying keep going all the way out to fucking what was it? Connecticut, Massachusetts? I can't remember. Connecticut. Yeah. Was worth it. It was worth it in his eyes to pile drive for him. Everybody there, right?
Not for Item, not for Dukev, not for Daigo, not for Boost.
Yeah. Not for everybody else, right? But yeah, I mean, well, that's because that's a guaranteed spot, right? Because you don't have to. Because I feel like that's how it's balanced. It's either you go and kill it at these premier tournaments that are going to be stacked, guaranteed, or you take the chance at hopefully winning or accumulating enough points online in your region with people you're definitely playing in your region, but you have to do that 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, right now 4 it seems to be the magic number because we've had Angry Bird just win 4 straight Big Bird win 4 straight, and like no one can catch him on the leaderboards right now. It's just guaranteed to him, right? Like it's. But he was also still going out because guess what? Maybe by like that second tournament, if he would have gone out to a premiere and won it, then guess what? He just saved himself 2 other tournaments that he have to worry about. Not to say random out, but you know, there is a level of randomness, whether it's from the player, your opponent you're taking on, or maybe the internet connection, stuff like that, all these other variables. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's like how they're able to kind of balance that a bit. Because otherwise, then like I'd have a really hard time understanding whether or not it would be worth past that. But yeah, I mean, hey, we still got plenty more matches, plenty more tournaments to get through. I think at this point we have 20.
One offline.
I think it's like 20. I think we have like 22 actually confirmed players at this point in time. Oh yeah, actually I have it down here now. This is 9 because we have premier tournaments. We have 9 from there. And then we have another 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have 23. Remember, we're supposed to have 48. It is a 48-man bracket at Capcom Cup. So there's plenty of finals to still get through and plenty of leaderboards to stack up and actually get people out for. And there is no LCQ. Well, just putting out that there is no LCQ this year. This is the first time Capcom Cup has not had an LCQ. I feel like it would be kind of tough, to be perfectly honest. But that's why.
And it's not a week thing again, is it?
The way they did it.
That's probably why they probably try to take out the week entire.
It's like 3. It's like 3 days. You know what's funny? I was just checking out Capcom Cup tickets. You know, because it's over in Japan. So I was like, oh, let me see. Like, yo, box seats. How much are these? It's like 100. I was like, all right, cool. Like, that's not bad at all. Like, box seats in no box. It says like 17,000 yen or something. I was like, oh, how much is that in euros? It's only like 100 euros, which is like $120. But like for some reason I couldn't get them. Like I kept clicking like add to cart and it's just not letting me. I have to double check and see because I would really, really want to go and peep that out. But yeah, so Capcom 11, you know, it's getting closer than you think. It's actually happening once again in March. It starts on the 5th, ends on the 8th. It's 3 days. 3 days, baby. That's it. 48-man bracket.
You know, maybe that because it's in Japan, they're not gonna have a whole week event.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, yo, we got work to do. So we got time for this.
Small off tangent, but like there's so many events happening. I mean, that's 5 months away.
Yeah.
That's far. And then there's also the Evo, what is it? The Hall of Fame thing that they were announcing for January.
The Hall of Fame, yeah.
It's in LA. Yeah. Only one more offline event, which is on the 15th of December, which is
Kings of the World.
Kings of the World. It's in Europe, I believe London.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's UK. It's London.
Yeah, it's quite odd.
I mean, to put it in perspective, like, so for, you know, some of the super regions like Canada West and Midwest, like we have 2 of the final tournaments are actually happening this month, like in a matter of days. So that's like 2 more people right there. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 7 more finals, regional finals this month.
Yeah.
So we should be getting, I think if I got this calculated correctly, if it's 7 on there, another 2, 9, and Middle East. Yeah, Middle East is considered. We well, no, technically we already have it with Big Bird. We're gonna have like 9 or 8 to 10 or 8 to 9 people qualified this month.
Yeah,
like set. Damn. So we're gonna get really, really close to that number. But then if we add the Kings of the World, then that gives us, I think, around that 9-10 range. So
by March,
it's gonna be quick.
Do we get Elena already? Like we got Akuma after Capcom Cup, and he was the last one of.
Oh yeah, shit! I haven't even thought about DLC either.
Because we're more than likely getting Mai, which is gonna be part of our next topic, I believe. Oh, no,
wait, it is?
No, I'm thinking the Game Awards. I'm thinking the Game Awards.
Oh, for the Game Awards. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Yeah, well, that's it for Capcom Cup. Let's talk about the Game Awards. Yeah, side tangent into that. Yeah. Game Awards. Not like it is a big deal, right? Game Awards, you take them for what they are. It's like, hey, cool, your game is in there, or it's not. It doesn't really.
I watch for trailers. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. You know what we're there for. We're really there for trailers. Hopefully, like you were saying, maybe we might get my trailer or something. Like, is mine next? I thought so Elena's last,
Maya's
right?
winter, Elena's spring.
Okay, so Elena would be the closest one, maybe, but I think it's a little too far away right now for us to get anything. But at the Game Awards, not a bad place. But the reason we're bringing up the Game Awards though is because I just recently saw that they put up the nominees for Best Fighting Game. We've got Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising. We've got Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, Tekken 8, Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero. Aha, it's a fighting game, Gabe. Fight me. And Multiverses for the second time.
Very strange. I mean, granted, a lot of them, like Elden Ring, is like up for Game of the Year for just being DLC.
For being DLC, exactly. Right. That's why I'm like, yo, take these awards with like the grainiest of stuff. Right. But I feel bad
like they ran out of choices.
I feel bad that Uni 2 then kind of got snuffed out there. Uni 2 should at least be put up here because it did well.
Yeah,
it did well. But it's it's a popularity contest. That's why for me, like, if I were to say any of these are gonna win, it's probably Sparking Zero.
Yep,
it's probably Sparking Zero. Marvel could also win, but who I feel should win, I'm a little bit torn between the two, but I gotta give it up for Rising because they, like I said, I can't give it its flowers anymore, like any more flowers. They're giving it a goddamn garden. It has done such a great job in coming back from literally like just destitute, just done, and improve the system, support, add more content. Just do it right. The game is in a great direction. It's fun to watch. The characters are incredibly expressive, and they're trying to cross over with VTubers as well. And like the brand is already big. Like we've already stated before, Grand Blue is huge.
Wow. But wait.
But for me, I'm like, yo, I think this deserves its official flowers from whatever fucking organization the Game Awards.
If they're counting DLC, then why didn't they count like the Mortal Kombat DLC? Like Mortal Kombat was
ass.
What do you mean?
It was ass. The story was ass, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Story was ass, but there's also the reason why people are like, "Oh, multiverses, what the fuck?"
Yeah,
they already won. They already won before. Now they're coming back for another, and that. Yeah, and that's an interesting one because funny enough, I have been playing multiverses lately. I really jumped in. Season 4 just dropped. Raven has been added. I was like, you know what? Let me jump in and play. They had new ways to unlock characters, this and that. I was like, yo, let me go in and actually play the game because it got faster as well. That was one of the big things about the patch. It got faster. I played in the beta. I still loved how the beta felt. It was great. And they've kind of unfortunately been tripping really hard since their re-release. Some you can call it for player first games, PFG. Some of the fault definitely goes to WB because they definitely wanted to rush it out the door even though it was unfinished. That's why like when it did come out, like season 1 or whatever, it was like, yo, Agent Smith is busted as fuck. I decided to pick him, and he is actually. Okay. It is so unbalanced. It's not even funny.
Interesting.
It's not even like it's just loony and not toony.
My buddy's using LeBron, and he likes him a lot.
Not really, not too much.
But he's also top 10 bugs. So there's that.
Yeah. But yeah, so Multiverse is coming back. A little controversial there. And then there's Marvel. It's like, really, Marvel? You know, it'd be bittersweet for a 20-plus-year-old game to come back with a little bit of netcode. But that just goes to show you, like, hey, if this wins, then I think it's just gonna put fuel to the fire on potential Marvel 4 even faster.
It's like, do it.
So
and it's like, do it.
Look at that. And there's Tekken 8, and Harada's like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I did this. I think good.
From these games, you potentially have a trailer for like Tekken 8, maybe a multiverses for the Marceline. I was thinking we'll definitely get a My trailer, Fatal Fury trailer. We have to get some sort of announcement for the soccer player.
For Ronaldo. Yeah, because we still don't know. We still have no idea.
Mortal Kombat can get a Conan trailer, Conando trailer.
Conan.
And if it's an orange-haired comedian, that'd be even more hilarious. Tekken 8, we need the 4th character, and Strive, we can get a Venom trailer. Potentially.
There is opportunity here for sure. So make sure to stay tuned for the Game Awards. Even if you don't want to vote or whatever, that's fine. Who gives a shit? At the end of the day, just go check out the trailers. That's the one thing you don't have to worry about. As long as the trailers are good, who gives a damn? All right, so with that, let's talk Guilty Gear. Actually, Mortal Kombat's not the only one that's got some patches or some things coming through. This came faster than was expected. So for the patch for version 1.41, it's actually going to be happening on the 20th. That's this week. That's this Wednesday. And it's going to be going out, and it's going to have the addition of Team of 3 that was just in beta that we all got to try out and play, actually, with the changes that they applied to it, which is cool, which is like customizing and loadouts and sparring and player matches, basically all the stuff that was already in the beta.
Was there a survey?
No, that's what I'm saying. There was nothing that came out. It was just like done. I checked out my Steam library and it just says uninstall now. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And there was no survey post this, and they're like, yo, fucking ship it. And it's coming with ranked, man. It's coming with ranked faster than 1v1. We don't even have ranked in regular fighting online, and yet this does. That's like bonkers. I can't believe that we like whiffed on that, or rather that Arxis had whiffed on that, and the community has definitely noticed. So we have ranked on the Team of 3 before we have it on 1v1, which is kind of nuts. I actually wish they would just take this and give it to whoever makes it in Celestial to get ranks in it, because once you hit Celestial, it's like whatever. Like there's nothing else to kind of go for. So I wish they would just implement ranked. If there was any kind of survey to go back to, it would be, please just give us ranked at the very least, and fix the netcode, because Team of 3 is gonna be fun, but I think it's just gonna be like, after a week or so, it's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, Heroes Heralds, yeah.
Exactly. But besides that, kind of the big ticket items that's coming through is digital figures. No, not digital figures, even though they are doing some digital figure mode stuff.
I still haven't found a use for that.
Well, it's great for thumbnails. What do you mean? If you're a Guilty Gear content creator, the digital figure feature is great, because you could just make so many facial features and angles and shots, and you can make thumbnails out of it.
Okay,
there you go.
Fine. It will take you longer to make a screenshot or a thumbnail in the game than it. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But the biggest thing that's coming through are fixing a bunch of issues, including, and not limited to, and thank God, fucking Ramlethal's explosion triggering, even when, like, you hit her, which is just like, or burst or anything. It was just always active. Like, that shit was stupid. Right. And sorry, Ramlethal players, y'all just gonna have to let that go. You have to deal with the other 90% of your kit that's really good.
So wasn't this had to have been a glitch when she put you on the wall and then you're stuck there when she would push it against the wall and armor break? Did they put the armor break there on purpose, or was that also a glitch? It
stays right here. Fixed an issue of explosion triggering guard crush when opponent does not block the sword from the attacks. Like, and there's like several other issues, like things like that triggering. That was just the swords were just all kinds of funky.
And that's what I'm saying, because I was like, wait a minute. If the game has taught me before that I need to jump out when the sword gets pushed against the wall, it's guard crushing me and I can't jump out. So I thought it was something that the game actually balanced.
I guess I just die.
Right. I'm just sort of like, wait a minute. How do y'all put something in here that the game's telling me to get out? And
Yeah.
All right. Good fix. Good fix.
Yeah, things like that. Things like Kai's infinite projectile loop with Dragon install is gone. There's quite a. It's nothing more than just a bunch of fixed issues, really, and conditions, which is expected after a major patch. That's fine. So that's really what's coming here. But we aren't limited to that though. It was posted up on Twitter that they're looking to actually have another patch before this year's up for a little bit more balance tweaking, a little bit more. They might feel better because it might make the Zato players feel better because then Zato can maybe be a character.
I saw a clip today where he got punished on hit when he did the drunken move, whatever, the wall. He did like 2K2D drunken move because he couldn't make it safe any other way, and Johnny still punished him.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's bad, dude. Zato players are in shambles. Hopefully this balance patch helps out.
If you want to see that clip, go follow Jonathan Tene. He has all the Zato woes.
Yeah, and if not, hey, there's always Venom. There's always Venom
who'll get nerfed day one.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Dizzy,
we don't like lane play.
Shouldn't have put Dizzy in then because fuck. But then again, Dizzy isn't exactly lane play.
Oh my gosh.
2K 5K or 5K 2K 2D. Whatever into
Michael
2D.
Sword
That 2D has
good.
been so difficult to deal with.
Wild.
2D is fucking insane.
I mean, I haven't found all those shenanigans with the ice, but man,
there are lots.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen the full screen command grabs from the opponent, not from her.
Yeah, that's also been fixed. Luckily.
Okay. Yeah, that's fun.
The rapid acceleration into grab from full screen. Yeah,
but all hail Testament, probably the best, one of the best, one of the most power crept characters, besides Kai.
So with that, we're gonna be taking a quick break. But before we do, we do have a poll for you guys this week. Meant to bring it up earlier. Are you excited for Ghostface in Mortal Kombat 1? Want to hear people's thoughts because some people are still on the fence of like, this is a wasted slot. And other people are like, hey, Ghostface, they're fans. I mean, for me, it fits the bill, so I know I'm excited. So I'll hit yes on that. But when we're posting up this poll, we want to hear from you guys. No. Static also approves.
Fits the Billy? No? Okay.
Oh, fits the Billy. Nice. So go check it out, guys. Are you excited for Ghostface in MK1? We're going to be posting up on YouTube, on Twitter, Spotify, on all platforms. That lets us put up a poll. So make sure to go check it out. Once again, double tap FGC on all social media platforms, as well as on YouTube. But we'll be right back after this, guys. We'll be talking a quick discussion about fighting game features right after this. All right, fighting games. You know them, you love them. They season you with salt every time you jump on, but that's okay. That's part of its charm. It's a really bad relationship. You always try to break up. Always keep coming back. So we're talking something interesting. So the MK1, the MK1 combat cast that went down, and they brought up the feature, right, of the match replay. What is it? Replay takeover, which once again is not new. It's been done before. Like, had me thinking about like, oh man, this is great. They're just like adding some great features to it that it helps improve the game, right? It's gonna lower the barrier of like lab time. It's gonna help people understand, because they're gonna be like, why, even at a lower level, right? Even at a beginner level, you can ask the question and go, why did that hit? I thought my projectile should stop that, right? Even if you're a beginner, you don't know how things are interacting, you can replay this, replicate that, and be like, oh, I guess it just doesn't care about the projectile in any way. I should have done this, right? Bam, instant level up, fucking great tool to have. It had me thinking about like, man, like, yeah, I wanna see that in more games. Like, I want that in Strive. Like, I really want that in Strive. I would want it everywhere. Really had me thinking about like, oh, well, like, what are the standards nowadays when it comes to fighting games? Like, features that are like must have. For you, it doesn't have to be like what needs to be done now, but like for you as a player, like what are the go-to features? If we were to go down a list of any. So for off the rip, I think unanimously we can kind of agree on this one. Rollback netcode, fucking duh. Need to have it. What?
There is just, I think certain games, yes. There are certain games where I don't think rollback netcode works to the game's gameplay. Marvel 2.
You got I remember you. Never mind. Okay, I remember this point. Yeah, you're saying You're saying it's not a good look. You think a delay based is better for Marvel 2?
Well, I'm not an expert on online play or knowing what's better or worse for it, but the way the style of the way the rollback netcode works with replaying certain parts.
Yeah, the previous frame or whatever.
It really messes with how fast the game works.
Okay.
With bad connections. And I don't want to say bad connections, but with a farther connection. Because both connections might be good, but a farther connection might have a little bit more. And especially with a game that's really fast and sound based. Like that's really, really hard. So it's a good thing that we have a good connection, but it's just a bad thing when it comes down to gameplay and still more of the preference of the offline play. But that's just that's just this right here. That's just Marvel 2. The other games are fine. I get it. It's just with Marvel 2 and the chaos of it. That's why I'm kind of scared of Marvel 3 on rollback. Because it's like with the amount of precision, slower. It is slower, but holy hell, can you imagine a Zero just dropping it because of a weird looking thing? It's just, I mean, granted, a lot of players that watch Marvel hate watching Zero play, so I get it too. But just saying, like, the amount of detail that goes into each combo, if I get a Stone Smite and I mishear it, with Super Scroll. But that's just me and my Marvel brain. Hand playing from Parsec, any type of good internet is good internet. However, yes, that is a staple in upcoming games and new fighting games. I would agree. Games, right? I would wholeheartedly agree. Yes. However,
go on.
Sorry. Whatever Cross Tekken did from the first patch to the second patch for online, I felt like it was a detriment to its online play. The online was very good at the start of the game, but then people complained that the sound was delayed, which it was, but the game's online was still good. And then they put it into whatever they reverted to Street Fighter 4, and it destroyed the game. So that's just my soliloquy.
I can't remember online play with that game too much. Only because I would go to tournaments. Like I didn't play it online that much because it was the heyday. Every day you had somewhere to go.
I just remember people doing their ukemi rolls and like trying to roll out, and I would punish it. And then other times they would roll out and then they would land left or right. It didn't know, so I couldn't punish.
Oh shit! Yeah. All right. Well, now we're digging deep here, folks. But yeah, rollback netcode. Not too much of a hot take there.
It's David's fault.
I think crossplay as well. I think crossplay is another one
100%
that needs to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's getting implemented more and more, which is great. I'd rather, even if it's just between two systems, right? Even if it's just PC and PlayStation or PC and Xbox.
PlayStation, PC, Xbox, yeah. I mean,
like
Marvel Collection would have been great if it was crossplay, because then you don't have to have like somebody say, "Hey, do you want to play? I have the same game." And it's like, no, you don't. You're on Switch.
Crossplay me, dog. But I know there's certain at that point. There's definitely there are other factors. There's limitations because I've heard there's issues with even just rollback in general when it comes to the Switch. Right. For an example, I remember a developer talking about that. It's like there are ways to do it, but it's like very difficult. That sounds like it could be a hardware limitation. On the other side, is also things like licensing, right? Like being able to, like tech wise, like we've had this discussion with like John in the past. I remember this has been brought up in the past as to like really the back end of how it would work, where it's like you have an account that talks to this intermittent like account that is then able to then connect to another account, and that's like on the back end, like it's very simple to do that. But the other side of it is like licensing and like paying for that. Like from the developers themselves that are doing it, like, a part of me goes like, oh, one person could argue and be like, oh, well, bro, like Battle for the Grid is on everything. Like literally everything.
And so it's like,
but it took time. But it took time to do it. Like it had to sell units. It had to sell and make the money to let that happen. In the beginning, it did though, still, but it was only like between like I think consoles like PlayStation and Xbox. But then they added it to Switch, to PC, to fucking not Android. Those the others. Yeah. It might have been Android. I don't know. Like there was a couple of obscure ones in there as well.
No, it was the Stadia.
Stadia, thank you. Yeah, wow. Like Stadia and shit. Like, but like crossplay, I think needs to start becoming even more of the norm from the rip. Like adding it later, sure. Like okay, you know, I'd rather have it than, you know, and get it eventually than never get it. But to really take advantage of making your community as big as possible and not have those situations like you said, like, yo, you want to play? Yeah. Oh, I only play on PlayStation. Like, oh, fuck. Like, I play on Xbox or on PC. It's like, so next week? Or, you know, like, yeah, sure. You could be like, oh, you know, come over, hang out, or we'll make a session. But, like, you know, it shouldn't be that way. It should be like, hey, let's just link up and, you know, send you a friend request and let's go play some matches, right? It helps bigger player base, which also helps expose like beginners to even more players, which is also a plus. That's for me is kind of like becoming more and more and more of like, this should be standard off the rip. Like, it shouldn't even be a discussion anymore, to be perfectly honest. It shouldn't be like a nice to have. It should just be a standard. Because I think there's just way too many people playing these games. There's way too many people playing fighting games now, which is a good thing. I don't say too many, like it's too much, but like there's more now than ever. And it's great, but we should definitely not have to worry about us being like carrying outside of whether you want to have the most optimized setup. We should not have to worry about who's playing on what. We should just be able to play against each other no matter what the situation.
Right. And so wait, are we moving on? Not because I'm not, I'm only saying that because yes, I agree. Crossplay, definitely. I think that's very needed. Especially with back in the day when I was like, yeah, I'm going to get Mortal Kombat for PS3 because my friends play on it. And I'm like, none of my friends had it. Even if I had friends. But whatever. It was...
I'm pretty sure we were friends.
Yeah, well, I didn't play a lot of people in that game. Mortal Kombat 9, I believe. So,
9. Gotcha.
I think something that might be... Okay, I think for fighting games now, what is necessary is maybe a free version of the game.
Like always? You always have a free edition?
Whether it has one character, like the Grand Blue Way.
Or rotating.
Right. I think that just so people can try it. And we look at Brawlhalla and how many players are playing it. Speaking of which, they had their finals this weekend. And how many players are still playing? Congruent players playing that now is pretty high. So I think maybe a free version of a game, just so people can get an idea, whether it's just an online match or just arcade mode, sort of like how, dear God, I'm dating myself, when Xbox 360 arcade would have demos of almost every game.
I remember. Yeah,
and I'm like,
I remember.
Dude, I had a demo for like most games. Like UMK3 was the one game I didn't buy, but I had the demo and I would play the hell out of it just for 2 rounds, just to like do a fatality or something. So I think some sort of demo might be helpful, because that was definitely a high value thing in PS3 and and Xbox days.
And nowadays, you know, to shell out the 50, 60, 70 bucks on maybe you'll like the game, like maybe you played it a little bit with the homies, but like that's it. But that's like if you're going to events and stuff, like what if it's a person that just wants to check it out, like to put the investment in, it's like it's tough, right? But like a demo is great. I think it's a healthy alternative for sure. Like just having a free version, absolutely. I'm down for that. Let's bring demos back. And to add to that, actually, this was actually going to be my next point. I think, I feel like we're doing politics here. I think if I were to do fighting games, DLC should be available on training mode no matter what.
Yes.
I feel the characters in DLC should be available in training mode, because I feel like it's unfair at times where a player wants to lab against the latest character that's out. You shouldn't have to shell out the money just so you can level up your knowledge. And that I feel is a gap. We should and like I said, just training mode, that's fine. And it's vice versa. It's for you to know how to play, because you don't want to have to go to online to be like, all right, let's see what this character does, and not be able to lab it, right? And you just have to go off online, you know, maybe sacrifice. We've talked shit before, right? Like people don't want to sacrifice their ranked or whatever. You're going to player matches, but then player matches don't have the same degree of caliber of players that are actually, you know, try-harding on ladder, right? You don't want to get punished for that. But on the other side, giving them in training mode so they could also try it out, kind of like a demo, could also help convince people to, hey, buy that character individually, or, you know, maybe all the characters are good. And they're like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just get the season pass because I can see myself playing all these characters or something like that. Like, cool. Like season passes, I think they might end up getting kind of hit a little bit there. But I think individual like purchases of characters would like go up more because you're giving the people that appetizer to try it out and see that sampler to be like, oh, is this character for me? Okay, if it's not, that's fine. You then can lab though.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be a standard. Some games have done it. I think more of the mainstream games should do it.
In essence, those replay takeovers should, cover that. But again, that's if the game has it.
I was gonna say this kind of coincides. Like replay takeover is part of that as well, for sure. But that's if it allows that, right? If replay takeover is like, oh yeah, we'll do replay takeover, but then it's like, oh, you have to have the DLC. It's like, oh, that's fucked.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't think I've seen a replay takeover that does that though. Like MK1 is gonna be interesting to see if that's the case. Like if I just boot up the game and I just want to be like, oh, I played this Ghostface. I don't own Ghostface. Can I just do replay takeover and play the character? Right. But there's some limitations there because I think you only do so much time. So doesn't do the same thing.
Right. But you can block and see the defensive options.
Yeah, you can at a minimum, be able to level up your game against that with your character. But I feel like to help kind of push the sales or, the ability to see on whether or not the consumer wants this character, I think having DLC available even during training mode, I think it's a win all around, to be perfectly honest. Right there with the demo suggestion you said earlier. I think those need to be both equally a normal feature to be added. But yeah, that's what like I said, the replay takeover from MK1 kind of started having me think about these things and be like, oh man, especially with things with 2X still being in the horizon, and it's what are they gonna come out with? A part of me feels like, I don't know if it's nostalgia, but or maybe because I'm biased because they did set a bar for it, but I feel story mode, a well-built story mode needs to be a norm too, because it's been proven that a fighting game could have an incredibly well-written story and you get to play with all the different characters and all, sure. But some people might complain and go oh, I only want to play with one character, right? But they're thinking arcade mode, that's different. Story mode, kind of ever since MK9, it forces you to play through the different characters, which for one, you might vibe with one that you didn't know, but then two, it lets you expand and create that story, that great story from the beginning to the end, that you can put a face and a character to everything and see where their allegiances are and this and that. I think overall it's a great feature to have. I know sometimes it's on the budget, or maybe some games don't translate to it, but because it gets weird with some games MK, the Injustices, they did great. Guilty Gear Story was literally just a movie, which I'm for some people are that's fine. Maybe they just don't want to because it's so much. Rev 2 was a lot.
Yeah.
But I think a good story is should be a norm.
Yeah, I mean, oh god, here's my problem with the Guilty Gear one. I don't know if it might have been the TV I was watching it on, the first story. But no, you know how if certain TVs have I don't know what the term is, if it's on vivid or normal or movie,
the TV mode. Yeah.
I think that affected the way that the Guilty Gear chapter, the first chapter, whatever the first part of the story mode was. I mean, it was bad, yes, but you didn't like it. What do you mean? What?
No, I'm trying to understand what the hell. So you were just watching it on fucking dim?
I don't know what the hell we were watching it on. No, but the way that the way that Chip and Angie were chasing after Happy Chaos's car. Was it hilarious. Just bad, or was it just
it was bad.
Okay.
I gotta show you. I'll have to show you some of the animations. It is just.
It wasn't comically me. It was bad. It was just puzzles.
Some motherfucker said, "Yo, keyframe here, position in betweens. Let's go. Yeah, I gotta go to work. I gotta go to sleep.
I need you to show me what happened with the bike situation of.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that. I'll show you that later. But
so you said a second one. I need to say my second one that I need fighting games to have. Yeah, don't have one. No, no. I mean, I think so. For instance, what's missing, and there needs to be not just you can't just have survival and like money mode or something else mode. Like, for instance, somebody yesterday, I was at a friend's house. We're all playing fighting games, and he's watching the intro to Tekken. We're cycling through different games. They're very casual. And he goes, there should be a game that, you know, you can play all these different type of genres, but like throughout. Like, for instance, like if I'm doing like, there's like shooting and Call of Duty, you know how the intro is for Tekken 8. And it's like Call of Duty looking, and he's like I'm shooting from one part, and then the next part I have to do like a fighting game type of fight. And I'm like
mini games?
Not even mini games, just that's part of the game. You know, like an actual
it sounds like it's a mini game. Yeah, it just sounds like a mini game within the game.
Sure, it's a mini game, fine. But you could think of like Matrix Reloaded or Enter the Matrix back in the day. That had fighting and also shooting elements. Yeah. But like in still first person, but also kind of third person. I mean,
you want variety. You want to be able to expand more than that.
But then at the same time, that's also expanding a pro level type of play, because somebody who might be good at like Call of Duty might not be good at a fighting game, or somebody who's pro at fighting game might not be good at a shooting game. Granted, they could put it on normal mode and succeed. I don't know, easy, whatever, blah blah blah. Me, no, but you see what I mean? Like, it also that's what I mean. Mixing genres like that, I think, could work. And I'm not saying that the games need it. I mean, obviously, I'm just trying to say that there needs to be more to games than just arcade, online, and survival. But where's the creativity? How can they get creative in that? Like Grand Blue had a pretty cool, like, not platformer, but it was like an open world.
Fall Guys. Yeah, they literally had Fall Guys in there.
Well, that was recent. Yeah, but the Grand Blue original had like the sort of beat 'em up stuff.
Yeah. That side story beat 'em up style within the system.
And I'm dating myself again. Tekken 3 had a beat 'em up, and so did PSP Guilty Gear Reload.
Yep,
had a beat 'em up. So yeah,
I think Dark Resurrection did too.
What is that?
Or is it Dark Resurrection? Sorry. Tekken 5. I'm thinking.
The old Tekkens had a bunch of content. What happened?
Yeah.
Like, you eat the chicken. You know, like, come on, man. Yeah.
Ugh. Chicken. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So for you think a standard should be like just additional content like that that doesn't necessarily have to stick around fighting games. So you want more DOA beach volleyball content. I got you.
In the same game, not in a different game.
Got you. No, we all heard what you said.
I never got to play those games.
Oh, you sound so sad about that. Don't worry.
It's okay.
You can look it up on YouTube.
Oh, I did. I've plenty of times. As a teenager, leave me alone.
So, So basically, yeah, I think it's been a great time to kind of look at like what the norm is for fighting games, as it's been ever evolving, and with new modern games coming out, and our expectations for it. Kind of our thoughts and our needs or our wants for these games tend to also evolve. So that's kind of been on my mind ever since I saw the Replay Takeover, because I want that shit everywhere, and I'm like, this should be a standard. Like, need people to see the light. But we want to hear from you guys. This is what we're posting to you guys for the question of the week this week. What fighting game features should be standard by now? Let us know. Post it up. We're going to have it up on our Discord, which you guys, of course, can go ahead and join and say what's up there at doubletap.gg/Discord. But we're going to be posting it up on our YouTube. We're going to be posting it up on Twitter, Blue Sky, all that good stuff. We're going to be posting it up there. Let us know what you guys think. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know, once again, what features should be standard by now in modern fighting games. And with that is going to be it for this week's episode, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate y'all chilling with us for another week, another episode. Make sure to follow my awesome host here.
Thanks for hearing my rants.
If you want to hear more of StaticGorilla's rants, make sure to follow him at StaticGorilla on all social media platforms, as well as on Twitch, which you're just doing your TNS runs, and I don't know what else you're playing right now.
Sadly, I won't be entering TNS this week because I'll be entering Bum's tournament. He's having a tournament this weekend, and it's my first time going up to first time going to one of Bum's tournaments. So it's going to be a Marvel bracket. Even Liberty Terminator is coming up from Florida, so it's going to be a lot of really well versed players. Living Legends coming out, Evasion's coming out. So all of the same type of action you saw at ECT will be happening this Friday at Bums tournament. Besides that, I've been getting back into Pokemon competitive Pokemon VGC, whatever you want to call it. So I might be streaming that one of these days, and still trying to get, Kimberly is the master, still trying to get some maybe Celestial going. Whatever I'm feeling, I will probably post it and as a poll on Twitter, and we'll figure out what I'm going to play.
Go check them out then. Make sure to follow them, and also you can follow me at Crashtag VS on Twitter as well. But make sure to, more importantly, go follow the show at DoubleTapFGC. Like I said, that's on all social media platforms. If you think it, we're in there. Instagram, TikTok, everything, Blue Sky, Twitter, and YouTube as well. If you like the episode, you want to check it out on in video format as well as some of the shorts, some of the things that we have coming out. Make sure to go check us out at DoubleTapFGC on YouTube. Make sure to go subscribe. Once again, thanks for letting us hit the 500 subscriber goal. We're already on our way to 600. Much love to everybody that's come through on that. Much appreciated, guys. And once again, if you want to get involved in our question of the week or our polls, doubletap.gg/Discord. Come join our awesome community there. We'll be posting up the polls. We'll be posting up the question of the week as well, just to hear what you guys have to think about that. We're already discussing a couple other things there. Come check it out. Articles, things like that. Anything you want to get involved with, it'll be there. And also, guys, remember, we're taking submissions for community segments. We already did have a couple already recorded. But for any questions or topics that you might want to talk about on the show, make sure to hit us up on socials or at doubletap@mash.gg. Email us there. But in the meantime, that's going to be it for us, guys. By the time we come back next week, we're going to have some Ghostface to talk about. We're going to definitely be talking about some Guilty. And we're going to see, I think the Game Awards are going to be done by then, but we'll see what happens.
December
but in the
12th.
meantime, then, December 12th. All right, never mind. We'll just have to wait till then. But until then, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.